Right now, there is a massive gap forming. Business owners are making real decisions: who to hire, who to fire, who to promote, based on one thing: how well you use AI. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you're still Googling things that AI could answer in seconds, you're already falling behind. But here's the good news. You're not too late, not even close. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple 5-phase system that will take you from complete beginner to genuinely fluent with AI in about 3 months. No coding, no technical background, just a clear step-by-step process that anyone can follow. And I promise, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do on day 1.
Phase 1 is building your foundations. This is week 1, and honestly, this is the part most people skip, which is exactly why most people never stick with AI. Before you try anything fancy, you need to set up the right habits and tools so that using AI becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth. You don't think about it, you just do it. Here are the 5 foundations I consider absolutely non-negotiable. Foundation number 1, replace Google with AI. Starting today, anything you would normally Google, I want you to type it into an AI tool instead. My personal favorite is Claude by Anthropic, but you can use ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, whatever you want. The point is, just pick one and start using it. The difference is night and day. Google gives you 10 blue links you have to sift through. AI gives you a direct conversational answer that you can ask follow-up questions to. It's like going from a library to having a personal expert sitting next to you. Foundation number 2, keep AI open in a pinned tab at all times. This sounds so simple, but it matters more than you think. The reason most people don't use AI consistently is because they forget it exists. If it's always there, always visible in your browser, you'll start reaching for it instinctively. Pin it, leave it open, make it impossible to forget. Foundation number 3, talk to AI instead of typing. This one is a game changer. Every major AI tool now supports voice input. There's also tools like whisperflow or even the built-in dictation on your Mac or Windows machine. When you speak to AI instead of typing, 2 things happen. First, you go way faster. Most people speak 3 to 4 times faster than they type. And second, you tend to give way more context because you just naturally ramble and explain things in more detail. And more context means better answers from the AI. This single habit will transform how much value you get. Foundation number 4, download the mobile app. Get the ChatGPT app, the Claude app, or whatever you're using onto your phone right now. This means you can use AI everywhere. While you're walking, while you're commuting, while you're on the couch thinking through a problem. You always have your phone on you. Now you always have a thinking partner on you too. Foundation number 5, start recording your meetings automatically. If you do Zoom calls, Google Meets, any kind of online meeting, there are free AI tools that will automatically record, transcribe, and summarize those meetings for you. The one my team uses is called Grain. If you want a free option, Fathom is fantastic. And trust me, this is going to become incredibly powerful in the later phases. So that's week 1, 5 foundations. Get these in place before you move on. Seriously, if you haven't done these yet, pause, set them up, then come back. Everything else builds on this. Phase 2 is using AI as your coach. This is week 2. Now, here's where we start using AI in a genuinely meaningful way. But, and this is important, we are not asking AI to do our work for us yet. We're asking it to help us think better about the work we're already doing. Think of AI like a very smart colleague who has read thousands of books and has broad knowledge across tons of fields, but who has zero context about your specific situation. So your job is to give it context about your life, your work, your goals, and then let it ask you questions, challenge your thinking, and help you see blind spots. Let me give you some real examples. Let's say you're a social media manager trying to grow an Instagram account. You could go to Claude or ChatGPT and say something like this. I'm a social media manager responsible for growing an Instagram account from 100,000 to 150,000 followers in the next 90 days. The account belongs to a fitness brand targeting women aged 25 to 35. What are the highest leverage things I should focus on? What mistakes do people in my role commonly make? And what questions should I be asking my manager to make sure I'm set up for success? That's not asking AI to do your job. That's asking AI to help you think more clearly about how to do your job better. And the answer you get back will genuinely surprise you with how useful it is. Here's another example. Let's say you're a project manager and your team keeps missing deadlines. You could say, I run a development team of 8 people. Over the last 3 sprints, we've consistently delivered about 70% of what we committed to. I think the issue is scope creep, but I'm not sure. Can you interview me about our process and help me identify where the bottleneck actually is? See what happened there? You literally asked the AI to interview you. That is one of the most powerful prompts you can use. The AI will start asking you targeted questions, and through that conversation, you'll often realize things about your own situation that you hadn't seen before. It's like having a free coaching session. Now, here's where the meeting recordings from Phase 1 become incredibly powerful. You can take the transcript from any meeting, a team meeting, a call with your manager, a client call, paste it into the AI, and ask for insights. For example, here's a transcript from my weekly team meeting. Based on this conversation, what are the underlying issues that nobody explicitly addressed? What should I follow up on? And what could I do differently next time to make this meeting more productive? The AI will analyze the transcript and give you insights that would normally take an experienced executive coach to identify. You can also use AI as a coach for your personal life. Things like, "I've been struggling to stay consistent with my workout routine. Can you interview me about my current schedule, my energy levels, and my past attempts, and help me design a realistic plan?" Or, "I want to negotiate a raise at work. Can you role-play as my manager so I can practice the conversation?" Or, "I'm thinking about switching careers. Can you help me think through the pros and cons based on my situation?" The possibilities here are genuinely endless. Now, one important caveat, and this applies to everything we'll discuss in this video. AI is incredibly helpful, but it is not infallible. Think of it as a very smart friend who sometimes speaks with more confidence than accuracy. Always apply your own judgment. Don't blindly follow its advice. Use it as input to your decision-making, not as a replacement for your own thinking. By the end of week 2, you should have the habit of turning to AI whenever you're stuck on anything, or even when you're not stuck, just as a way to pressure test your thinking and find ways to improve. That habit alone puts you ahead of 90% of people. Phase 3 is using AI as your worker. This is weeks 3 and 4. So up until now, we've only asked AI to help us think. We haven't asked it to actually produce anything. Phase 3 is where that changes, and this is where most people get excited, but it's also where most people mess up. Here's the most common mistake. Someone goes to ChatGPT and types, "Write me a LinkedIn post about productivity," and the AI spits out something that sounds like it was written by a corporate robot with no personality. They read it, cringe, and conclude that AI isn't that useful. The problem isn't the AI. The problem is the approach. Instead, I want you to use what's called the 10-80-10 rule. Here's how it works. You do the first 10%, the thinking, the strategy, the context setting. You tell the AI exactly what you want, who it's for, what tone to use, and you give it reference material. The AI does the middle 80%, the heavy lifting, the first draft, the grunt work. Then you do the final 10%, the quality check, the taste check, the vibe check. You edit, refine, and make sure it actually sounds like you and meets your standards. Let me show you the difference this makes with a real example. The wrong way. Write me 50 content ideas for my Instagram. That's going to give you the most generic, vanilla, useless list you've ever seen. The right way. Here's a transcript from my latest video about time management. Here are 3 competitor Instagram reels that got over 1 million views this month. I've pasted the captions and hooks below. And here's our content strategy doc that describes our target audience and brand voice. Based on all of this, give me 20 hook ideas for Instagram reels. Focus on counterintuitive takes and pattern interrupts. Each hook should be under 15 words. Avoid rhetorical questions and generic advice. See the difference? You're doing the first 10%, gathering context, providing reference material, setting clear constraints. The AI then generates the ideas. That's the middle 80. And then you go through the list and pick the ones you actually like. That's the final 10%. And here's a pro tip. Once you've picked your favorites, paste them back in and say, "These were the 5 I liked best. Give me 30 more ideas in this same vein." Now the AI understands your taste, and the second batch will be significantly better. You're training it on what you think is good. This brings me to probably the most important concept in this entire video, and that's the concept of taste. Taste is your internal sense of what's good and what's bad, what feels authentic and what feels generic, what's genuinely helpful and what's just noise. Here's why this matters so much. When AI generates something for you, you should feel something. If you read the output and think, "Yeah, that's fine, I guess," that's a red flag. You're not applying taste. You're just accepting whatever the AI gives you. But if you read it and think, this part is great, but this part feels off, and this sentence is cringe, that's taste. That's your internal quality filter working. And your job is to use that filter, give the AI feedback, and iterate until the output actually meets your standard. The people who use AI badly are the ones who accept the first output. The people who use AI well are the ones who treat it like a talented but junior team member who needs clear feedback and multiple rounds of revision. Now, the 10-80-10 rule doesn't just apply to writing. You can use this framework for almost anything a chat interface can help with. Email drafts. Give the AI context about the recipient and what you want to achieve, let it draft, then you refine. Meeting agendas. Tell the AI what the meeting is about, who's attending, what decisions need to be made, and let it structure the agenda. Strategy documents. Give it your goals, your constraints, your data, and let it create a first draft framework. Research summaries. Paste in articles or reports and ask it to pull out the key takeaways relevant to your specific situation. Even things like preparing for a job interview. Tell the AI the role, the company, your background, and ask it to generate likely interview questions with suggested answers based on your experience.
The key principle is always the same. The more context you provide up front, the better the output, and you always apply your own taste and judgment at the end. By the end of week 4, you should be reflexively asking yourself throughout your workday, could I get the AI to take a first pass at this? And most of the time, the answer is yes. Quick pause. If you're finding this valuable so far, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this video. And if you want a free downloadable checklist of everything I'm covering, the foundations, the prompts, the tools, all of it, I've put a link in the description. It's a Google Doc you can copy and use right away. Okay, let's keep going, because phase 4 is where things get really interesting.
Phase 4 is using AI as a system. This is going to be roughly months 2 and 3, and this is where you go from someone who uses AI to someone who has a system that gets better over time. Let me explain this with an analogy that I think makes it really click. Imagine you're baking a cake. The first time you bake it, you follow a basic recipe and it turns out okay. Not amazing, but okay. But then you have to bake the same cake every day because it's part of your job. After a few days, you notice the cake is never sweet enough. You always end up adding extra sugar at the end. So you think, wait, why don't I just update the recipe to include more sugar from the start? You try 1.5 cups instead of 1 cup. The cake comes out better. So you update the recipe, version 2. Then you notice it's always a bit dry. You keep adding chocolate sauce after it's done. So you experiment. What if you mix the chocolate sauce into the batter? You try it, it's amazing. Recipe updated, version 3. Over time, after hundreds of small tweaks, you end up with a perfected recipe that produces an incredible cake every single time with minimal effort. That's how your grandma's famous recipe came to be, through iteration. This is exactly what you should be doing with your AI prompts. It's called building a prompt library. Here's how it works in practice. Let's say the first time you ask AI to generate Instagram hooks. Your prompt is pretty basic. Here's a transcript, give me 50 hook ideas. The output is okay, but generic. That's version 1. You notice the hooks are too generic, so you add focus on counterintuitive takes and pattern interrupts. Avoid generic advice. Output improves. You save this as version 2. Then you notice the hooks are too long to actually say in a reel, so you add each hook must be under 15 words. Better. Version 3. Then you realize you hate rhetorical questions. They just don't match your style. So you add never use rhetorical questions. Version 4. Then you realize the AI keeps using the word unleash and unlock and level up, words that make you cringe. So you add never use the following words and you list them out. Version 5. See what's happening? Each version is slightly better than the last because you're encoding your taste, your preferences, your constraints directly into the prompt. And here's the key. You save these prompts. You build a library. I'd recommend using a tool like TextExpander or even just a simple Google Doc or Notion page where you keep all your refined prompts organized by category. Over time, you'll develop a feel for which model works best for which task. In my case, I have paid subscriptions to ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini because each one has different strengths, but you don't need all of them. Even just paying for one pro subscription will be a massive upgrade. You might also discover that certain tasks can't be done well through a text chat interface. Maybe you need to create presentations or edit images or generate charts. This is where specialized AI tools come in. Things like Gamma for slide decks, beautiful.ai for presentations, or Figma's AI features for design work. Don't get overwhelmed by the tool landscape. There are hundreds of AI tools launching every week, and most of them won't be relevant to you. Just find the ones that solve your specific problems and ignore everything else. By the end of month 3, you should have a prompt library with at least 5 to 10 refined prompts that you use regularly, and each of those prompts should be noticeably better than when you first wrote them. That's the system working. Phase 5 is AI as infrastructure. This is month 4 and beyond. And honestly, you could spend years going deeper into this phase, but let me show you what it looks like and how to get started. Up until now, everything we've done requires you to be in the loop. You open the AI, you type or speak a prompt, you review the output, you iterate. You're always there. But what if the AI could just run in the background? What if you could set something up once and then it just works automatically, like a machine you built that keeps producing results while you focus on other things? That's what AI automation is, and there are 4 levels to it, from simple to advanced. Level 1. Use automation already built into your existing tools. This is the easiest starting point because you don't have to learn anything new. You just discover features that already exist in tools you're already paying for.
For example, if your team uses Premiere Pro for video editing, there are AI plugins like Firecut that automatically generate transcripts, remove silences, and can export transcripts directly to Google Drive. If you use Notion, it has built-in AI that can summarize databases, generate content from templates, and autofill properties. Gmail has AI that can draft replies. Slack has AI that can summarize channels. The action step here is simple. Go through every tool you currently use and ask yourself, does this tool have any AI features I'm not using? You'll probably be surprised by how much is already available.
Level 2, connect your tools together with simple automation platforms. This is where tools like Zapier and Make come in, no coding required. For example, you could set up a Zapier automation that says, every time a new Zoom recording is saved, automatically grab the transcript, run it through ChatGPT with this specific prompt from my prompt library, and then send me the summary as a Slack message. Or every time I add a new row to this Google Sheet, automatically generate a draft email using this template and send it to the person listed in column B. Or every time a new blog post is published on our website, automatically generate 5 social media post variations and add them to our content calendar in Notion. These automations are surprisingly easy to set up. Zapier literally uses a drag and drop interface where you say, when this happens, do that. And they have thousands of pre-built templates you can just customize. Level 3, graduate to more powerful automation tools. Once you've gotten comfortable with Zapier or Make, you might find yourself wanting more control, more complexity, more power. That's where a tool called N8N comes in. N8N is an open-source automation platform that lets you build much more sophisticated workflows. For example, you could build a workflow that takes all of your team's meeting transcripts from the past week, combines them with notes from your project management tool, runs everything through an AI with specific instructions, and generates a comprehensive weekly report that gets automatically emailed to your team every Friday morning.
That's the kind of thing that might take a person several hours every week to do manually. And once you've built the automation, it just runs every week, automatically, forever. Now, N8N does require a bit more technical knowledge than Zapier, but there are tons of YouTube tutorials that walk you through it step by step. And by this point in your AI journey, you'll have enough context to actually understand and follow those tutorials, which is why I didn't recommend jumping to this phase first. Level 4. Build your own AI-powered tools. This is the most advanced level, and honestly, most people won't need to go here, but I want you to know it exists. At this level, you're not just connecting existing tools, you're actually building custom AI applications. Maybe it's an internal tool that helps your sales team automatically qualify leads based on their email responses, or a custom chatbot trained on your company's documentation that can answer employee questions. Tools like Replit, Cursor, and Lovable make it surprisingly accessible for non-technical people to build simple AI apps using natural language. You can literally describe what you want the app to do, and these tools will generate the code for you. But like I said, for most people, you don't need to go beyond level 2. Learning Zapier and setting up a handful of automations that save you a few hours per week is already an enormous win. The key question to keep asking yourself is, what am I doing repeatedly that a machine could do for me? Not everything should be automated. Sometimes the manual process is valuable because it keeps you close to the work and helps you maintain quality. But for truly repetitive, low-judgment tasks, automation is a superpower. By this point, you're not just using AI, you've built AI into how you work. It's running in the background, saving you hours and getting better over time because your prompts are improving, your automations are refining, and your understanding of what's possible keeps expanding. So let me give you the quick recap of everything we've covered. Phase 1, build your foundations. Replace Google with AI. Pin it in your browser, use voice instead of typing. Download the mobile app and start recording your meetings. That's week 1. Phase 2, use AI as your coach. Ask it to help you think better, interview you about your work, and give you insights from meeting transcripts. That's week 2. Phase 3, use AI as your worker. Apply the 10-80-10 rule. You provide context, the AI does the heavy lifting, you apply taste and quality control. That's weeks 3 and 4. Phase 4, build AI into a system. Create a prompt library that gets better over time. Experiment with different models. Find specialized tools for your specific needs. That's months 2 and 3. Phase 5, make AI your infrastructure. Automate repetitive tasks using tools like Zapier or N8N so AI works in the background while you focus on higher value work. That's month 4 and beyond. If you follow this system, I genuinely believe you'll be more fluent with AI than 95% of people within 3 months. And the best part, the system keeps getting better over time because your prompts improve, your automations refine, and your understanding deepens. The one thing I'd encourage you to do right now, today, not tomorrow, is go back to phase 1 and set up those 5 foundations. Don't overthink it. Just start. Open Claude or ChatGPT, pin it in your browser, and the next time you want to Google something, type it into the AI instead. That single action is the first domino.
If you want the free checklist and prompt templates I mentioned, they're linked in the description below. And if this video was helpful, I genuinely appreciate it if you'd share it with one person who you think could benefit from learning AI. That's how these videos reach the people who actually need them. Now, I do have a video coming very soon that goes deep into my exact personal AI workflow, how I use it day-to-day as an entrepreneur, how I use it to build software, generate content ideas, and run my business more efficiently. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you don't miss that one the moment it drops. I'll see you in that one.